Good afternoon, Ruth Ann. Welcome. Okay, so we have a bunch of people registered for today, which was good, but they haven't all checked in yet. So bear with me if I have to take a break here and let them in the room here. And hold on here, get the wrong video camera on. That was good news, James, that they're going to get you hooked up with Real Flow Power Match again.
Yeah, it's rather interesting that I'm finding out from Real Flow. I'm not finding out from Response very much. So I just hope, the thing about it is with that added back, it's the same as all the other Real Flow. And I get it for $300 a year compared to $199 a month. It's kind of hard not to use that, right?
$300 a year?
Yeah, it was part of my program that I went through with the real estate training.
Is that one user, one website?
No, it's I've got, I think, 5 users or 6 users, and then
5. Okay.
something like that. And then I got 100 websites.
And how many leads?
The only one I don't get are the probate leads.
How many a month? 5,000?
I have no idea. I've never ran into that limit yet, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, there is a limit for most people on a daily basis, and just so everybody knows, they can go change that. Let me see if I got everybody let in here. It looks like I might have somebody pending, but I don't see them. That's kind of weird. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Welcome everybody to the monthly Lunch, Learn, and Connect. This is our monthly meeting that's open to everybody. This was originally a physical lunch and learn. I hope to go back to that before too awful long. And in the meantime, though, we're doing virtual so that we can continue with education and helping you grow your businesses and stuff. And it's not intended to have a particular topic for this event, but to do a Q&A session, get to know one another, and build relationships and answer some questions. So that's what these lunch and learn events are for. We're going to kick it off with an introduction with sponsors. We had a couple of them register, but Ruth Ann's the only one here right now. So Ruth Ann, why don't you go ahead and just give a quick 30-second who you are, how you can help kind of thing.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ruth Ann Dunham. I'm with Service First Mortgage. Been in the mortgage business 29 years. I'm a traditional lender in most ways. I can provide down payment assistance all over the state of Texas. And that doesn't have to be just first-time buyers who are impoverished. I also do a lot of creative loans like commercial and raw land, interim financing, things like that. And I can do ITIN now again during this financial crisis. That was out of my portfolio for a while, but it's back. So I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you.
And occasionally she does refinances for cranky old guys that aren't used to doing conventional lending, but for a refinance, they don't have much choice, right? So, but
we appreciate your business.
Yeah, and I appreciate you taking care of us. So, yeah, we've got some properties. Actually, I don't know if I told you, Ruth Ann, but this is the very first property that I bought in Weatherford.
Wow, great.
So
That's a great equity.
I've had it for quite a while. So, and the funny thing is the tenant that's been in it bought it, or rented it with the intent of owner financing it, and they defaulted on their lease with option to purchase. This is back before the laws changed it, and they just been doing straight rental forever. So it's been good for me, but you know, it's originally I was hoping that they would buy it, and because that's what we did is we rented or leased to own, then we own or finance and then help them refinance into a better rate. But they're just perfectly happy to just continue renting and paying off my property so I can go refinance and pull cash up.
That's right.
So yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Just helping the customer, whatever they need to do and want to do, you know, within reason, of course. So, okay, well, thank you, Ruth Ann. We appreciate you. So let's do just a very, very quick 30-second introduction of everybody. And I say 30 seconds, please try and keep it to that. So, your elevator pitch. A week or two ago, we talked about elevator pitches. Actually, it was on the mastermind call, but we talked about elevator pitches and what do you say to somebody when you meet them? You have a chance to introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do. That's what I want you to do here. Who you are, what you do, what you're buying, what you're offering, and then you can go to the chat and put all your information in the chat box so we can network. That's our way of networking with everybody. And everybody can capture your information and reach out to you as they need to. So, James, we're going to start with you. And welcome to the call today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is James Conner. I'm a real estate investor. Been at it for a year and a half. Still working on my first deal. I'll get there. I've put out probably now 25 offers, so it's coming soon, I would think. I'm more on the conservative side. I don't want to get stuck in a deal where it's going to run me through the ground. I kind of got set back, but I'm like I said, I'm going after the single family homes, and that's pretty much me. I'm actually pretty good with the websites and all the other stuff. So if somebody needs help, reach out. I'm more than willing to help you out with websites and what's going on.
Cool. Thank you, James. We're going to come back and talk about one of your comments there about not wanting to get in over your head or whatever it was, something like that. I want to come back and talk about that. So, okay, Markia, you're up next. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Markia. I am a new real estate investor. I'm practicing a study, practice, teach type of scenario. I started mentoring with Tim, so he's going to help me learn the ropes. I want to start off with subject twos. They seem not as invasive and not intimidating, so that's where we're starting at. It's very nice to meet everyone, and I hope that we can build some connections.
Cool. Thank you. Welcome aboard. And Markia, the thing I love about her is she's a jump in with both feet and then figure out how to swim. So I love that. Take action. So I love that. So welcome. Lisa, you're up next. You're muted, Lisa. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Yeah. All right. I'm a real estate investor, have been for over 10 years, own different things from apartment complexes to single family homes. But the last 2.5 years, like everybody else, haven't had much activity and it's hard to market out there. So I joined Tim's group to try to get more involved with other people. I've been in a lot of real estate investment clubs and lost a lot of money to some and trust this one I'm impressed with what I've learned so far. And I'm also in trailer homes. I'm licensed for manufactured homes, so I can answer some questions, but the laws are changing in that area too. And these are manufactured homes that aren't tied to land.
Cool.
And that's about it.
Well, thank you. I'll come back and comment on our conversation yesterday, Lisa. Okay, Scott, you're up next.
Hey, everybody. Nice to meet you. Scott Allen Turner. I'm a certified financial planner and a real estate investor. Have been about 4 or 5 years. Used to live in North Dallas. I've got several properties up there with my wife. She's a realtor. Now we're out west of Fort Worth. So we're looking in the Mineral Wells, Weatherford, Aledo area. And that's me in a nutshell.
Cool. Well, welcome. So you say west of Fort Worth, Scott, are you Weatherford or what?
We're in Aledo right now.
Lido. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in Weatherford, and for all of you, if you ever downtown Weatherford, stop by. My office is right downtown next to the Taco Casa. I don't eat there, can't stand the food, but I'm right next door, unfortunately. I catch all their trash, all their vehicle noise, all of their car noise and exhaust noise from the diesels going through their drive-through, but nothing I can do about that. So, okay, Michael, you're up next. Are you there, Michael? Microphone. Okay, his microphone is not working, or camera. So, well, welcome to the call. Go ahead and put all your details in the chat box for everybody. Then everybody can communicate with you that way. So welcome to the call. Okay, so I had a couple admin notes that I wanted to address up front, and then we'll get into questions you might have. If you didn't see the note that I sent out earlier in the week, I have decided to clean up my act a little bit and lighten the load, and I'm going to sell my all wholesale properties business. And that is, you should have an email on it. It's also on the resources page. I think I've highlighted it to a point where it'd be pretty hard to miss it. But if you have any interest in buying a turnkey wholesale business, then go take a look at that and then reach out to me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. I have had several inquiries. I will be setting up appointments to talk to people about that in detail. Also, good news, I announced last week about comps tools. We now have a comps tool special offer for the membership with Propelio. Again, that was in your email. New members will have a link to it in their email, and it's also on the resources page as well. But you get a great deal there. It's 14-day free trial with no credit card required. So they're not trying to get your credit card information. 14-day free trial, and then you get your first 2 months 50% off. So go check that out. You get comps with it, MLS comps, which is the big thing that I was looking for, so that you have a real true source of comps to work with. But you have comps, you have a driving neighborhoods app, you have list pulling capabilities. It's a little different than the Real Estate IQ where they send you lists. This one you can go in and pull lists from motivated sellers, and there's a bunch of different ones in there. I have not had time to go utilize the list yet, so I can't tell you how to do it, but I'm pretty sure it's quite simple. And then they also offer real estate investor websites as part of that package. I have 1 million websites, way too many. I have not tried it yet. I may go try one just for the experience of going through the setup and see how it works. But all of that stuff is in there for that one price. Go check it out, especially for the comps. The one thing that they don't offer right now is you can't go subscribe to just comps. I've inquired about that, and there may be some opportunities coming later in the year where if you wanted just the comps piece, you may be able to purchase that. Right now, you cannot. So go check it out and see what you think of it. Again, you got 14 days to go play with it and try it out. Okay. Next thing is meeting locations. I sent a note out earlier this week. I do not have a good solid location to hold our meetings. It turns out the bank that we were meeting at is pretty much said it's indefinite. They don't know when they'll be opening it back up to us in the future, if ever. So I'm going to have to find a more permanent place. It is not available to us next. The place we've been meeting is not available next month. So we just need to find another place. My challenge is time. I don't have an assistant yet in the office to help me with this. I do have a lead on a place that I have been to. I have talked to the manager. She's trying to get me some questions. I'm going to have to go back again, but all that boils down to whether or not the answers to my questions are the right answers, and we can come to an agreement, and I have time to do that. Otherwise, the March meeting is going to be virtual. Some like that, some don't, but I'm working on it, but that's where I'm at right now, just to be honest with you. Okay. So that's pretty much what I had for initial comments myself. I will put my information in the chat box here in a couple minutes. I'm going to open it up to the floor. Who has what questions at this point? Somebody's got to have a question. Anybody buy a house this week? Okay. Well, while you're thinking of a question, I'm going to go to Lisa. Lisa and I were talking about mobile home comps this week. I'm looking at a mobile home that is in a park, and it is not attached to land, which means it's personal property, which means that personal property values, if it's a personal property home, meaning just the home, it's not going to be on MLS for comps. But let me just also tell you what I've discovered. When I go put this property into Zillow, Zillow comes back and tells me it's $160,000 for this home, and it's a 3.2 of 1,300 square foot. And so you're going to have to be really cautious when you look at Zillow. Now, you shouldn't be using Zillow for comps, but other information and stuff is one thing. But man, what a difference, because depending on what you look at, it's anywhere from $14,000 to maybe $30,000 is what, I think the value is of this property without land attached to it. So, Zillow is really somehow misleading people on what the value is of that. So as far as comps go, Lisa, I don't know if you saw my email, but I asked you about going to the NADA website, and I didn't see a free comps option there. And it looks to me like I have a $30 report option or a $50 report option. Am I looking in the right place, Lisa?
Yes, but I can probably get that information for you for free, but I have to look at it.
Okay.
If you email me the link that you got those two charges, I'm checking with the licensing board this week because, like I said, there are some changes with that.
Okay.
So I'm investigating that. That's
okay. I'll send you an email after this event's over with the details of it, but it just didn't look like the NADA site gave me any other option to try and get a value of that home on there.
okay. And just one question or one statement. So, when you're looking at a manufactured home that's not tied to land, look for, there is a plaque or something on the sides of mobile homes. If not, they have it that I can use to look up or call where I'm licensed at to find history of the home.
Okay.
Because when it's bought or sold, the history is listed in where I get my license from.
Okay, well, I have a copy. I didn't get the tag, but I have a copy of the manufacturer's info form that was mounted on the inside of the kitchen sink cabinet. And she gave me a copy of her purchase ownership document. So I have the
Okay.
make and model number and serial number and all that stuff.
Okay. And the other thing on comps, what you were finding in Zillow, one thing you have to be careful when you're looking at is, I don't know how big that park is, but
It's
they may
huge.
be talking about the park in some cases on Zillow and not just that house. So because, yeah,
That could be true because it was some crazy square footage.
yeah. And it probably has to do with the land, because the land is the listed asset. And so the mobile homes are separate from that. So that may be why Zillow is a little crazy, but it may be true.
Yep.
Because when you look at the county tax records, it'll list the land, but you can also, in the tax records, find individual trailers. And I found them on RealFlow under some tax delinquents, because like a car, they have to pay tax on a manufactured home as the personal property. So I've chased some trailers that way to try to buy them that aren't attached to land, like I say.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna have to go try that. I didn't realize I could do that in RealFlow, but I'll try that.
yeah,
And to the question that you and I discussed yesterday about owner financing of a mobile home. I spoke with Martin Garcia yesterday, who is an attorney and our title company sponsor. And he just recently, for those of you that weren't at our meeting when he just gave us a legal update, there's some owner financing law changes. And the majority of those law changes do affect mobile homes as well. But here's the thing on mobile homes. So if the law does still apply, Lisa, on the RMLO, the limit of 3 a year before you got to become an RMLO, that kind of thing. But the thing is that if you're buying a mobile home and you're going to rent it, if you turn around and try and sell it to another investor, if you sold it on owner finance, those requirements don't affect you. And
okay.
you know, not many people, not many investors will buy a house and sell it to an investor on owner finance. But I can see where a lot of investors may sell a mobile home to another investor on owner finance. I mean, I just, that may happen. I mean, maybe not. Maybe some people don't want to do that.
Well, one of the reasons, just to not to interrupt you, but one of the reasons that may do it is financing. People who have cash who can buy a mobile home, and an investor that may want to get it that doesn't have cash, you could owner finance it to them.
Right.
Because you can't financing for a used mobile home, you can't use traditional financing. You can't get a standard mortgage or anything like that on a property that's not tied to land. So there is a big market for people who are new that need to have a portfolio.
Right.
So if you have the cash.
Right. But my point there was an investor buying a mobile home, whether he's paying cash to the seller, or even if he bought it with owner financing from the seller, he can turn around and sell it with owner financing to another investor, as long as that investor is not living in the house. So just a little twist on words, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. And it may be in giving you an additional exit strategy. If you bought the home, the mobile home, and you are going to sell it, you know, being able to sell it with owner financing gives gives you, and sell it to an investor with owner financing gives you another exit strategy to consider. So, but anyhow, I'm still trying to move forward on this house. I'm trying to make the offer tomorrow. So I'll give you that email, Lisa, when we're done here with those details. So.
And send me the park name too, please.
Okay, you bet. Okay, so we have a new welcome here. Darlene, you want to introduce yourself and just, quick 30 seconds, who you are, what you do, what you're looking for, and say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Darlene Jones. I just joined the group. I am really new into the real estate. It's something that I really wanted to do for a long time, and now I have the opportunity and the time to do it. So I was looking at wholesaling to start. I'm looking to network and make my first deal. I'm currently working on that. So here
Cool.
I am at my first event with you guys. It's nice to meet
Cool.
everybody.
Well, welcome aboard. You're welcome to go put all your information in the chat box there, and you can see what everybody else has done there as well. What part of the Metroplex are you in?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Okay, cool. Well, welcome. Okay, so moving on here. James, did you, well, James took a hiatus there. We'll come back to him in a minute. Anybody else have a question at all? Again, this is meant to be a Q&A session. We don't have a specific topic we're talking about today. Anybody have a question that they want to throw out here to everybody? Don't everybody be bashful.
Not everybody speak at once, right?
Okay, James, you made that comment earlier about didn't want to get in over your head or something there on offers, so you're being careful and cautious. Can you tell me again what that was? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm just being cautious on what if I make an offer, I'm sticking at 70 to 75%. And if it's not over that, then I move on. I continue to do follow-ups on people, and I've not had anybody come back to me yet, but when I make an offer, I'm not going to take and turn around and offer more than what's being done. I've also changed from, I don't even look at wholesalers or anything else. I reach out directly to the people, whether it comes in via a warm lead, or whether I'm doing the cold calling or sending out mailers. So I got the last guy I had was an offer on a property that his son was in some type of motorcycle accident, and they needed money to go through the divorce. So, I came up with a 75% offer, and he's ghosted me ever since. So I don't know what's going to happen on that one. I've even went by the property. But it's one of those things. I'm not going to make an offer that's going to get me in trouble.
So I agree 100%. You want to not make an offer that's going to get you in trouble. And for everybody on this call, especially the new folks, this is why you want to make offers where you're protected in that offer in the option agreement. You could go out there and if you have $100,000 house and you accidentally put too many digits in it and made it $1 million offer, most people are going to go, and panic and freak out and not know what to do. But as long as you used your option period correctly, then you have the time to go back and terminate that contract, or go back and renegotiate and correct that offer. Because your buyer or your seller, your seller may or may not realize what you did, and hopefully they're going to be realistic though. If you go back to them and say, hey, look, I made a mistake. This is supposed to be 100,000, not, not 1 million. Then you should be able to correct that. But if not, then you can terminate your contract. So that option period in a contract is very important. You can go out and make offers all day long. And this, for all of you, go out there and make the offer. If you're not, even if you're not sure what the real ARV is, if your seller's motivated and they're willing to sign a contract with you, you make sure you got a good option period in there, put 14, put 30 days, whatever you can get away with. Nowadays, you may not get more than 14, and then go back and do the rest of your due diligence. For example, right now on this mobile home I'm working on, I could have made an offer on the spot and I didn't, but I could have, and then just use the option period to come back and finalize what the ARV is, the after repaired value. And, sometimes it's hard to do follow-up. James, you've experienced that, you make the offer and they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, they don't answer emails. They don't answer. They don't. I even went and done door hangers, put a note on the door,
Yep.
the whole 9 yards. I'm not getting, they just ghosted me. So
And
they'll be on a
there's going to
drip
be,
campaign.
there's going to be people like that ignore you and they're just shopping and so forth, so that's just part of the business. People are going to do that.
Yeah,
But
this last,
again, on the option, and making offers, again, even if I know you're new and you're not going to really feel comfortable about your offer, maybe, but if you make the offer, as long as you have a good option period, you can still go back and fine tune that, renegotiate it. If you're too high, go back and renegotiate with the seller. And if not, if they start ghosting you at that point, they won't talk to you, terminate the option. Just make sure you terminate it in accordance with the contract. Make sure you do it in writing and you have certified copy, or you've given it to them in person, either one or both. But you want to make sure that you get it terminated. And that's another part about that is you got to be organized in this business. It's great to have the date on the contract what kind of option period you have. But if you don't go back and put that expiration date on your calendar and take action and, implement the termination letter, you're going to have a problem. So being organized is another very important piece of this business, in my opinion. And some people don't do a very good job of it. If technology scares you, then you need to figure out another way to stay organized, whether it's, in paper or what, but very important that you terminate that option if you decide to not move forward with it.
yeah,
Any
that's
questions
exactly
on
why
that?
I use that follow-up boss. It keeps me well organized. I don't miss anything. Because when I'm in a particular property, I put a task, I put timelines, I put everything in there.
Does
It
that
does
sync with
everything
your
for me.
phone?
Huh?
Does
Oh, yeah.
It does? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Everything's on. It's got a really good feature that allows, I don't know if it's Twilio or Call Rail, but it allows you to call from there as well. So all your messages, every phone call is recorded, the whole 9 yards. Plus, that's where I put all my documents and everything else. And it integrates well with everything else. So it knows when I get a lead from a web page, everything.
Yep. We still need to get together and go over that. So, all right. So, any other questions? I mean, going back to your comment, James, again, if you just maybe think about that option period, maybe you can use that and be able to make some additional offers. Are you using a multiple offer strategy?
I am, and I still have yet to figure out on that net seller sheet from REI Pro. I've yet to figure out how to adjust those other ones. So I've been doing it manually. I've wrote one since then, and I went back and I've got a Excel spreadsheet that'll allow me to go in and make modifications and allows me to see what some of the other options are. So I wrote one last Thursday. Still waiting to hear back from them. And they have ghosted me as well.
Yep. So I don't know that you're going to be able to do anything but make a manual change to the letter of intent in the
Okay.
offer generator. I think that's a fixed form and fixed formula that I don't think you can change. I'll inquire about that. But the nice thing is you can do it in the letter of intent and you can make it say what you want it to say.
Right, and that's what I've done. I've got an Excel spreadsheet now that I've got built that'll give me the different options on the different options that are out there, and you just plug in the numbers and away it goes. Maybe I'll share that with you.
That'd be good. So the thing that I want to stress here is how important it is to use the multiple offer strategy when you're making your offers. Even though people will tell you what they want to tell you, as far as cash or they don't want anything but cash and stuff, make them the multiple offers. And if you learn to do the multiple offer strategy correctly, you're going to be offering more money to that seller in an owner finance scenario versus all cash. Cash is always going to be your highest risk offer because it's all cash. And if you type your cash in there and can't sell the house right away, then you have a problem. Whereas owner finance, anytime I can go buy a house with nothing out of my pocket, that's a lot lower risk transaction to me, and I'm willing to pay more money for it. You can pay more than a house is worth as long as you structure a set of terms that allow you to make money and make up for that discount that you didn't get. So if your house was worth 200 and you had to, or let's say it's at 100 and your cash offer normally would be 70 minus repairs, well, you could go pay 100, 120, 130. There's probably not a limit to how much you could actually pay as long as you had a set of terms about how much money down, when do you start paying what you owe, and at what interest rate. So all those things come into play. I probably need to have this class added to the schedule sometime soon, because you can buy houses with nothing out of your pocket. People do it, and you can pay them a really good price for that house. And in today's market, that's important, right? You could probably go offer more than what the retail market's going to give them, but you also have to have a repayment structure to them that allows you to not make payments or make very low payments for some period of time so that you can recover some of that discount that you did not get, because normally you're going to get a 30% discount. Remember, the formula is the ARV, the after repaired value, times 70% minus repairs. That's what most people use. Now, that 70% is really up to you. So it's a 30% discount, right? So I have gone to 75 and in some cases 80%. So I'm only looking for 20 to 25% discount instead of 30. But the reason I'm doing that is to try to be more competitive in today's hot seller market. And I would encourage you to consider that too, but I'm saying this cautiously because if you don't know what you're doing, you need the extra spread in the deal so that you don't lose money. For example, if you go and buy a house and you buy it at 80% and then you rehab it and you don't have a clue what rehab materials are and costs, and you go way over what you budgeted for, there's a good chance you might lose money on that rehab. So you have to be very, very careful on all of these things. And, the formulas are important, but so is all the analysis on the rehab cost and making sure your power team is trusted, your contractors, and you know what your costs are going to be so that you don't lose money in that deal. The last thing I want you to do is lose money. Okay? Last thing I want you to do is lose money. And there's no reason why you should if you're doing it right. You get the right education, whether you get a mentor or not, but a mentor is very helpful in making sure you stay on track and do things right. But you also have to listen to that person as well. So, all right. Does that help, James?
It does. And I'm on the right track. I think it's eventually going to happen. And like I said, I'm in no hurry because I'm actually back working again. So I want to get the right deal. Once I get one or two, then I'll start pushing. I'm going to go after a VA and things of that nature. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay. So let me throw this out to everybody too as a option to consider. If you've made offers and they aren't getting accepted to a seller, and they're motivated, they need to sell, you just couldn't make it work, consider sending me the lead and let me go make an offer. And if I get the deal done, I'll pay you. I mean, if you're going to throw it in the trash anyhow, why not give it a shot and let me try it? Maybe I can come up with a trick or two that you hadn't thought of on how to present an offer to them. As long as they're still trying to sell, then let me try it and then I'll get you paid if I buy the house. And then I can backfill you and educate you on what I did.
It works for me.
So think about that. Yeah, I mean, it might be something versus nothing, right? You could get paid something out of the deal versus not getting paid anything. So just something to think about. All right, so who's got the next question? Come on now, that's what these are for. Websites, marketing, finding sellers.
So I've been working on Real Flow, and I'm just like, well, I guess my question is more so about marketing. So I started on Craigslist, and that is because of Connor's suggestion. However, I'm running into, like, it seems like a lot of scams or fraudulent things, because what I do is I'll look, I was using his strategy of, the renters, and then I went onto Zillow and found the same thing, and it was like $1,000 more in rent. So and lately what I've been seeing is there's a lot of people in my position that are like marketing on Craigslist. So I guess my question is, what is the best marketing strategy right now? Because as I am looking, it seems like there's more sellers than people willing to buy anything. Because I mean, the places that I've looked, they're flooded with sellers and not many buyers. So as a new investor, it's intimidating because I don't know where to start.
So there is no one answer. Honestly, Markia, I think we talked a little bit about this, but Craigslist is just one, but it is turned into a big scam for a lot of people there. So you have to learn to spot the listings that are on there. There is whole strategies out there about how to post, what time to post, and what to post on Craigslist. But I would also tell you that there's a ton of free FSBO sites. And you can go post ads there, but you can, if they're FSBO sites, that's sellers marketing to sell their house. Again, there's a lot of investors marketing to sell their properties there, whether they're wholesale deals or rental properties or owner finance properties. So you got to look at it closely, and sometimes you can figure out, well, there's no doubt that's an investor trying to sell that property. So you might want to call, you might not want to call after you figure out, what kind of a property it is. Where you run into a lot of scams is if you are trying to sell or rent a house on Craigslist. I'm not sure how much scamming going on there is when you market to buy. Is that what you're doing? Are you running a We Buy Houses ad on Craigslist, or are you reviewing Craigslist and calling sellers?
I'm reviewing Craigslist and calling. So, like the one I have in front of me, it talks about an off-market. A lot of them say off-market properties, and then of course they're saying they get anywhere between 40 to 60 primary off-market properties, and then it gives a number, and then it says I sell to cash investors that either flip or move into a refinance once closed. So those are the common, like the lingo is the common amongst the
Okay. So that is one of our local wholesale brokerage firms like Net Worth or New Western, one of those types of companies. The off market was my first thought, first clue. But when they start telling you they get 20 and 30 and 40 deals a month, that is a wholesale brokerage firm. And in my opinion, not everybody agrees with this, but in my opinion, that's a total waste of your time. Because what they're really looking for, what they're really doing now is they've gotten greedy, and they're marketing to the out-of-state buyers, the California investors that are looking for properties here, and they're coming in here and buying them in mass quantities, and they're paying way too much money for them. And I've seen it, I've heard it, I hear it all the time from other investors that I've run into it. But those guys are charging a very high premium. A lot of these people these new investors are licensed agents, and a lot of them are 20, 22 years old and have never rehabbed a house ever and don't have a clue what the real costs are going to be. They're going off an estimate that somebody told them, and it's just one of those things, they just don't know. So I have tried. I have looked at so many of their houses, and I'm kind of a unique buyer in that I know how to rehab, and I rehab nicely. I don't shortcut. I don't do the minimums. So I have to get a better deal, and I just can't do that through those types of sellers. So your best bet is to market directly to homeowners that need to sell. And we haven't gotten really to this class in your mentoring, but you need to focus on posting we buy houses types of classified ads. And there are a bazillion FSBO sites, free for sale by owner websites. If you go Google it, Craigslist is just one of many, but you can go post we buy houses type ads out there. And there's all kinds of ads you can run. You can run ads on foreclosures and probates and ugly houses and divorces and, problem properties. You can do all that. I've got pages and pages and pages of ads that I've created over the years that are basically templates. I just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, put in your website, your phone number, and go post those. those are the kind of things that are gonna, that's just one avenue for you to market to the seller. But I think you should focus on marketing to the people that say they need to sell, or that they haven't said it yet, but they're thinking it, they have a need for it. And that's why they're looking in that classified ad site, looking for somebody to contact. So remember, your message, your subject line, your main message has to be appealing to them. Okay. There's whole classes on how to write a subject line to gain attention. It has to be an attention getting subject line. Your message, you only have a couple of seconds to get their attention, but that subject line is what's going to cause them to click on the ad and read it. Okay. So that's one way of generating leads. Social media is another way. Business cards, dropping business cards everywhere you go. Go to networking meetings, and they don't have to be just investor meetings, but you can go to other types of local networking meetings with business cards and just practice that elevator speech so that people know who you are and what they do, what you do. So when they need to call somebody, they know who to call. Okay. I refer back to this quite often, and you and I have talked about this, Markia, but on the website, on the group website for the members, we have the free report in there, 89 ways to find wholesale deals. And, there's a big part of it is networking. Go meet people, go tell people what you do. Talk to, if you see a code, city code violations vehicle run around the neighborhood, go talk to him. Go talk to the postal service, the postman, mailman. You see the trash service or a pizza man going through a neighborhood, go talk to them. And you want to make all these contacts, and you want to give them your business card so they know who you are and what you do, and that you're willing to pay for leads. Okay. There's no such thing as too many avenues to promote your business. People, it takes time to get websites optimized so that Google finds you, and it takes a bit of work to make that happen. And 21 years into the business, I'm still working on it. And I did get a lead this week from my website. We'll see how that pans out. It's a Cleburne property, 7 acres. That's a work for equity kind of deal. They bought it on owner finance, which kind of is my first concern, because they probably paid too much for it on that owner finance note. And then they started doing the rehab. In his definition, they've spent about 50 grand on it already, but then he told me that the only thing they've completed is a bathroom. So we'll see how that goes. They got an insurance claim on a roof that is being replaced from insurance from wind damage. So, but I'm interested in it. I mean, it is a big house, 2,600 square feet on 7 acres. So we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, did that help, Markia? There's a lot of different ways. You need to diversify in your marketing like you would diversify in any other investment. You need to go do all these different things. Not everybody's going to go to a website. Not everybody's going to read a text message or communicate with a stranger via text. Not everybody is going to respond to a postcard. So direct mail is another great way to market, in my opinion. Real Flow has got a really good direct mail engine built right into it. You can direct mail right out of Real Flow. Their rates just went up, and I just sent you the flyer for anybody that's registered for the Real Flow class next Wednesday. I sent you the flyer for Real Flow, and it's got the new postal rates in there, but they're the cheapest thing going that I'm aware of.
What did the
very
rates
cheap.
go up to? Did they, because they were like 35 cents for
They-
a postcard.
They were 35, they're 40.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
You can't buy stamps for that.
No.
So-
Stamps, what, 42 or 48 cents?
Something like that. Okay, who's next?
I did put something in for her. The Carrot has a very good webinar for 99 bucks on Investor Carrot on how to actually use Craigslist. It's very good.
I copied the link. I'm gonna look into that this evening.
If you're wanting to do Craigslist, it's a really good breakup. It actually shows you how often you can post. It goes through quite a bit of the different things, because if you overpost, Craigslist will ghost you and won't let your post show, even though you think they're posting. It'll show like they're posting, but they don't go out. So you've got to watch your rate limit on how often you post.
Well, the other problem you have on Craigslist is the derelicts that don't like competition, and they'll go out and flag you as and to have you removed.
Yep.
I've had a lot of problem with that over the years. So you have to monitor it closely, but it almost gets to the point where Craigslist is too hard because it's too high maintenance. So there's a lot of other websites out there. And Markia, we'll be talking more about this in future calls, but there's a lot of different areas that you can market. And I'm a believer, and you should be working them as many of them as you can. Just like I've said this quite often, how to eat the elephant, one bite at a time. Just go implement one thing, get it working, go implement another one, get it working, and just keep it moving forward.
Yeah, I see that Craigslist is not I mean, it has its benefits, but it's more of a headache in a sense, because you have to do more due diligence than going to other leads, especially like when you're, directly market, like sending out mail and that person is directly responding to you, versus on Craigslist, you have to weed through the BS and make sure that it's a real person, because I see numbers where some of the number is spelled out and then they have dots, and I'm like, this is clearly not a real lead. So I was like, okay, well, I'm still going to put some marketing on there, but I can see that it's not going to be somewhere that I want to spend a drastic amount of time marketing, because of the headaches that come behind the due diligence that needs to be taken care of.
Yep, a lot of work to it. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes, no? Okay, so next week is the Real Flow class. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go register. Again, I haven't gotten the March event posted yet. Still trying to figure out what I'm doing for the location. The last thing I want to show you, though, is, and a lot of people don't know about this, I've had a few questions, is if you go up here to the resources button on our group page, down here at the bottom is financial calculators. And especially if you're new in the business, go check this out. Go see what's in here, play with them a little bit. But when you're out there analyzing your deals, you want to go play with this Mayo calculator, the max allowable offer, and see how it helps you in your business and putting together an offer on the house. I'm not going to get into it now on going through it, but you want to make sure that your numbers work. And then mortgage calculator, this might help you tremendously learn how a mortgage works. And Ruth Ann knows that she probably dreams about mortgages, but it's very helpful, especially if if you're trying to figure out what a payment should be or an interest rate, and if they bought it 12 months ago, what's the current balance? You can do all that in this mortgage calculator. Okay. And then the last one here is the rental property analyzer. Notice it says premium members only or feature. So that means that you have to be a premium website user in order to get in here. But this would be a handy tool for anybody that is analyzing rental properties, and it's pretty detailed. So this is another tool that we actually haven't talked about, James, on our pro user calls about the rental property analyzer. But it's not just the premium tools don't just analyze your wholesale deals, and they also have this rental property analyzer in here.
I
So
didn't see that before. I was actually using Rent-A-Meter,
yep.
and I've got that for a year, but this looks like it's about the same.
Yeah, it's pretty detailed. Pretty detailed.
Looks pretty similar.
Okay. It is now 1:05. I got a couple things I need to get at here. Anybody have any closing comments, questions, anything at all?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Please,
Have a great
please,
week,
please,
guys.
please, 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 if anybody thinks of a location that we may be able to use for meetings, needs to be, central Fort Worth out to West Fort Worth, Weatherford area. Ruth Ann, I may want to talk to you again about your facility there on Chapel Creek, if that's still an option possibly.
I can check.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, it'd be nice to know if that's an option.
I also have my HOA, but I'm up here on 287. It's $30 for, I think, 4 hours. If you want to do that, that's always open.
And
It's a
how
big
many
room.
seats? How many?
It's probably 30 by 60, 30 by 80. It's a big room. It's huge. It's bigger than the room that we had then at the,
Texas Bank?
yeah, it's bigger
Okay.
than that. But it's I'm right off of 287 and Bonds Ranch Road. And if I schedule on an HOA, I don't, it's just me calling them up and telling them, hey, I want to schedule it.
Okay. And can you confirm whether or not a Saturday morning is workable for them? Since our main meeting is Saturday mornings, and then if you could send me an address and, things like that, so I can just have that to consider. Do we have any kind of technology in there, big screen TV?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go down. I'm gonna have to call them, and I've never rented it before. I've been down there once, but it's right. Like I said, it's in my neighborhood. I can ask.
Yeah,
It's a
if
big-
you would, please, because that'll be a deciding factor too on whether or not we try and use that place. I did go to a restaurant downtown Fort Worth. It's down by Martin's office, actually. It's called World of Beers. And it is a nice, big, open restaurant. And of course, we would have food. It's no charge for the rental, but we have to order, food. And they're trying to answer some questions for me about the technology stuff. And the only thing I'm not real thrilled about is we probably can't get in there till 10:15, 10:30, which means we'd have to change the meeting times. But it's something to consider. It's a pretty good location. The one downside to it is it's downtown 7th Street, construction and traffic everywhere. There is a parking garage for free, but it's still heavy traffic. So.
Right.
Okay, folks. Well, I think that's all I have, unless anybody else has anything. Anything at all?
Tim, I've already emailed them about that West Fort Worth location, so I'll let you know.
Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All righty. Well, I don't think I have anything else, and appreciate your time today. Hopefully you find it beneficial and worthwhile. Darlene, thank you for coming the first time. Appreciate it. Michael,
Good to be
welcome
here. Thank
aboard.
you.
And look forward to seeing everybody in the near future. Have a great day.
Likewise,
Stay safe.
you. Thank you.